We've got a real treat for you this evening with Johnny here. He went out with something new. He's got like camera angles like hidden like all over the place. He's about to blow your minds. He was just switching camera views all over the place when he was showing us his setup. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him talk here. So Johnny, with that, go ahead, man.
Well, we'll see if this works out. This is actually an extension of a video that Paige posted in December. He was taking the neutral filters and putting sticky color gels to make a fire effect. And I'm big into fire. Two staples for me is fire and water. So I actually I modify the yellow color filter and make a permanent fire filter. And what I do here, let me see, do one of these little switch ups here. All right, inside the neutral filter, right, or inside the yellow filter, you've got a yellow gel. And what I've done is I take red nail polish that's translucent. The people at Walmart think I'm crazy because I'll actually go into Walmart with my flashlight, take nail polish, hook the flashlight to it, and make sure it lights up. Because some of the nail polish ain't quite so translucent, right? But what I do is I take and let's see, oh, what happened to my camera?
There we go.
I was afraid that was going to happen. Why did it shut off? There it is. Okay, there we are. All right, can y'all see inside here? I've actually took the red nail polish and I've completely painted it 100% in the nail polish. I'll actually get it real wet in there and I'll roll it around. I want it nice and thick inside here, and then I'll let it dry. Then I'll take something like this little safety pin and I'll go in and scratch the nail polish, allowing just very minimal yellow to show through. Whoops, what happened there? Okay. All right, let's see if we can dim this down enough that you can see how little that is. Okay, see in there, let me see if I switch cameras to this one. I'm not actually showing up on my, there we go. Now I can see myself. I couldn't see a reference. All right, but do you see the two little yellow dots inside there? That little scratch right there is all there is. The rest of it's nice and red, but the effect that comes out is that. Because the light waves in the yellows are much more intense than what the red, it tends to have more of a yellow than the red, but in motion and depending on the sensitivity that you've got your camera set, let's see here, let me turn this camera here on and see if this will switch over to here. Oh, it's not firing up yet. Come on, light up. Maybe I'll do it in this one. All right. As I move it, see how the red becomes more dominant and the yellow's kind of flickering? That's a technique that I don't see a lot of people using. Usually when I see people doing the fiery effect with the gels or whatever, I'll see them sit there and stroke it like this, which gives a fiery effect, but not necessarily fire. Fire works a little bit different. Fire is very sharp, very quick, always round, never down. You never see a flame do this. All right. And you never see a flame do this. Flame is very fluid and is always rising. Okay. So what I do for a technique is I take my index finger, my middle finger, place the fiber optic in the center of it. Then I use my thumb to close it up so that the fibers can't get away from me. Now, as I'm working, I can either go round or I can squeeze and flatten, but I also don't work from the end of the fiber optic. I work from the middle and let the flashlight do the work. That way I'm getting little flickers and little flares, and I just take my time to build the fire. Give me a second here and I'll show you an example of how this lays out. All right, let's do a screen share. All right, now this image here, this is real fire. See how the fire is solid in the core And where it has air, it has some thinning marks. That is done by doing that little motion I was just doing. Here's an example of one that I was doing. The camera's not set quite right to get the what would you call it? The fuzz of the fire. Here, however, it actually does. And see how I've got the fade offs here and fade off here with the hardcore. That's done by giving it that shake versus the strokes. Like I said, you don't see a flame with a stroke, never. It's always flickering and fast. Okay.
Hey,
The other nice thing about this effect or this technique is, like I said, you can fill it up. You can make your scratches. You can fill it up with your nail polish, make your scratches, minimalize your scratches, test it out, scratch it a little bit more. If you overdo it, just reapply some more nail polish. So you can actually tune your filter to where it gives you the ultimate fire effect. And something else I don't see a lot of people doing with the gels, because they actually put too much of a dominant color in. You know, they'll mix the red and the orange and the yellow kind of evenly. They may dominate a little bit of one, but they don't really minimize, excuse me, the colors, and that makes it dominate your blades. By minimalizing the hot color, like the yellow in this case, it actually has an effect on the blade depending on the sensitivity that you give the lens. Now, when I look at this with my naked eye, it looks orange, where through the camera, you can see it has the red trace, even though it's predominantly orange or yellow. Let me tone her down a little bit so I can get the camera to work just right. Yeah, there we go. Now, as we're moving it, we're getting just around the outer edge, you'll see that it's still red. So when you're flaring, you get a red tint, even though a lot of it will be yellow. And that's because the pinholes that are inside of here are not just flooding the light. All right. Let me see here. See if I can show you the difference between the two. Using a regular red filter.
I'd just like to add in, please pay no attention to the Easter eggs Johnny's dropping in there.
I didn't drop an Easter egg in there. I've talked about my deals. Oh, that's what I was looking for. This one. Yeah, there we go. And throw that blade in there. I'm assuming you're talking about my interchangeable blades.
Maybe.
All right. See
I did notice that, Jason. Thank you early on. Thank you.
that is a work tool. Okay, I do a lot of custom builds. I need to be able to take the blade in and out very quickly to test it before I ship it off to Page for the limited editions.
Sure, Johnny. Sure, you.
I just liked it so much, I made me a complete dual set of all of them. Paige and I'll discuss those later. That ain't where we're at right now. Okay, but anyway, even though that this is predominantly red, if I actually have a red filter in, it goes from red to white. Okay, where that little pinhole gives me my yellow coming out of it. Just that little bitty pinhole, and I still have the remnants of the red. It's just a really cool texture thing when you're playing with blades. Fiber optics, it really stands out so you can make fire. But as far as marbling and just some cool textures, like I said, you can see that red as I wiggle it around, you'll see it sneak its way in there from time to time.
Can I say, sorry, Johnny, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say, I want to bring attention to one thing that you said about fire, which really change the way I do my fire, is always up. Would you say always round and never down?
Round, never down.
Yeah. I don't want that to slip by. It's super important. And it really does make a huge difference. Another thing is that fire is always going up. So, when you're creating your fire effect, you flick up, you get much better fire.
Right. And like I said, fire really doesn't have consistent streaks. There's not streaks in fire. Fire comes out and it wants to expand and bellow. And then as it cools, it tapers back in. So, when you're trying to actually mimic real fire, the key thing is patience, taking your time. Don't try to get, you can do the sweeps and have the fiery effect. So you've got the oranges and the yellows, and, from a creative stand, it's a fiery effect. But a lot of times I like to try to make things as realistic as I can nail them, but I want to do it with a brush and a connector, instead of actually getting out the wicks and lighting fires. And, models don't like you slapping them in the face with a real fire. They don't mind this thing so much. And like I said, that right there, that little motion right there, if you're very careful and take your time, you're going to have the red tints to the outside, which gives it that fade off glow, and then the hot core. And then you can actually swipe up as you're wiggling. Never stop the motion. Don't drag the motion to create realistic fire. Like I said, as you're going up, and even if you're doing little flares, keep the flashlight moving just like that. Okay. That's honestly all I had prepped for today. So any questions?
Well, Duncan just said you just answered all my questions about fire. Thanks, Johnny. So
all right.
there you go.
Any question on how to build it? I mean, like I said, it's the yellow color filter with iridescent red nail polish, and just load it up real thick and heavy, roll it around so that it gets all the yellow on the inside. You want it completely red on the inside of this, and then take a sharp object, a knife or a little pin. It's very little holes you're trying to get through there, and you just want to scratch it enough to expose that yellow back through it.
Johnny, I remember ages ago, we were on one of these, and you were talking about nail polish, and I hooked into some. And one of the things that I realized, thank you, is that so often we go, like I'm so often looking for big, massive outdoor swoops and swishes and stuff, but more and more now things are more compact and coming in close. And nail polish is one of those beautiful things where not only is it delicate because you get the little brush and you can play with stuff, but the variety of color, but not just colors, but also, and I think you alluded to this in the one where you introduced me to nail polishes, so many of them have glitters and textures built into them. And so the variety of stuff that you can work with is unbelievably cool.
Well, and the purity of colors, like I demonstrated when we were talking about edge dressings, this is a sanded edge. And even though it's white-ish, it's still kind of gray.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had a glazed edge and you put this snow white nail polish, this is a bloody light bulb.
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible.
So if whenever Paige sends out the blades, the stock LPV blades, those are laser cut, so they have a glazed, rippled edge. Yeah. And by applying nail polish instead of doing the sand diffusion, you're getting a pure white than you would otherwise. And for a temporary, I even talked about that in an earlier episode, using the white chalk markers. I know Christina's a fan of my chalk markers now. We had a conversation.
Chalk. I tell you what, the chalk markers are amazing. I remember when I first discovered those, and one of the great things about chalk markers is it makes you work ephemeral, right? Because for those that don't know, ephemeral is temporary. So ephemeral art is I use the chalk markers a lot when I'm doing my liquid light in the water, because the second it goes in the water, it starts to come off. And what it means is that it will because you're just mucking around with different colors, and once it's gone, it's gone. It can never ever be repeated, and that's one of the real joys about anything that is temporary.
Let's see, I've got Sherry asked me, said, love to hear about the water effect sometime. The water effect is identical to the fire effect. The difference is on the blue filter, I drill really small holes now. And to tune these in, you have to start with a really small hole, test it, get it a little bit bigger until you actually get the distribution you're after. But the technique itself is exactly the same as I use with fire. Now, water does run laterally, where the fire rises and dissipates, water flows in smooth flows. So that, I guess, would be the difference in the two techniques. But as far as building the filter itself, just drill a small hole. And what I'll do is I'll drill a small hole dead center of the gel, and then one off to the side. And the reason why I do it off to the side on the second hole is just for the blades. The blades inside of the filter, inside their housing, what do I do with it? There it is. All right. Is a straight thin line. So if you've got a hole in the center, you're going to get some light, some of the clear light to go through. But as you turn the filter, it'll brighten or lessen until it lines up with that lateral line inside there. So that's why there's one hole dead center and one off to the side. And like I said, I start with the smallest drill bit I've got, and then I just get a little bit bigger, and I may float the outside one a little bigger than the center one, because the center is going to come through because it's dead center of that clear plastic. But on my water effects, they generally don't have to be as bright. But it's the same effect. I may come down instead of halfway, I may come up a quarter of the blade, but still try to get that shimmer. But it does stroke. Water flows smooth. So Sherry, I hope that kind of gives you an idea of what I do there.
Hey, Johnny, one question, just how does the nail polish remover work? So for instance, say you take it on the side or on inside, what are the applications of nail polish remover?
Do not use nail polish remover on an LPB fitting, period. I actually covered that when we talked about cleaning in a previous one. We had talked about adhesives and tape and getting the residue off. And acetone does not like PVC or ABS plastics. If you do it to a color filter and you put fingernail polish remover on there and wipe it in, it's going to be in your hands. And this is molded plastic. It's not taking the color out. The color is molded into it. It's actually eating the plastic. No, these are permanent. These here actually have a place. That's why these holes are empty. These are permanent modifications that go in my forever kit.
Can I make a suggestion? So one of the things that I've done before is when I want to muck around with those color filters is put a piece of clear tape down on it first and then put the nail polish on, because then you can just leave a slither of it coming up the side. So if you do want to change that nail polish, you just reach down and peel out the clear tape.
Well, that applies to the gels. I was actually going to ask Paige on those gels that he was using, that the one by Paper Street Plastics. Is that non-residue? Are those non-residue, or when they go in, do they leave a sticky film inside when you take them off?
They will leave some residue down there.
They will?
Yeah, they're not.
We've got to get out the peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, that was the answer I was looking for about the nail polish remover.
Yeah. No, this, when you put the nail polish to the inside of that, or anywhere on the connector part of it, the fitting itself, it's a permanent thing. So you got to make sure you want it. But like I said, fire and water are two staples that belong with light painting. They always will. You know, I've yet to meet a light painter that just refuses to do fire or water. You know, they're going to be in there somewhere. So I have permanent pair of fire and a pair of water color filters. These tops are stock LPB, I always do things in pairs. So I've got 2 rolls of factory color filters, 1 roll of permanent modifications, and then the stuff that y'all can't have. But if you want to build one of these kits and you remove these 2 rolls, you could put clips here and hold 2 of white and a clear and a black fiber optic. So you can still do something really cool with the case, even if you can't have my interchangeables. They've been warned enough that they can't have all my crazy stuff. All right, does anybody else? Adhesive color window film.
Yeah, that just Ian saying something about the that adhesive color window film. I've never tried that before, but I'm sure it would be similar to the to that sticky backed film that I used in the tutorial, which again, I put a link in the comments there for the tutorial. I'll do that again actually right now.
I'm a big fan of those neutrals. You know, like I said, there's just a couple of techniques that I find are a permanent staple. You know, I didn't cover these other 4 filters here, but these here are simply color filters that I went in and drilled a pretty good size hole dead center of. That way I get the yellow core. It's almost the effect of the colored fiber optics, except you've got a different glow to it when you apply this. And these work real good on those too, because you have color blends. But yeah, I have a red, the yellow, a green, and a pink that just has a pretty good size hole drilled in the middle of it. So I can get that outside color glow with the white core. I would order a set of filters just to do that, if nothing else. But anywho,
All right,
all I
Johnny.
got.
That's good stuff, man. As always, that's great. Yeah, if nobody has any more questions, we'll go ahead and move on to the next part of the live here. Thank you, Johnny. That was some great stuff there, man. Thank you so much.
All right.
So we were going to have 20 Cent light from France on. We're going to actually put that on the YouTube channel. We've got a recording for that. So do apologize for that, because initially we were going to have that this evening, but we're just going to have to do that segment a little bit different. It's definitely worth seeing. I sat down with him, such a tremendous individual. It was such a pleasure to sit down and have a conversation with him. He's somebody I've looked up to for quite a while, and just his work is just phenomenal. So we will have that, as promised, up on the YouTube channel here pretty soon, and we'll definitely let you guys know when that's going to come up. With that, let me go ahead and screen share here. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and do some shout outs. First up, we've got Ian. Man, this the stuff you've been doing with the blade, man, ever since you got that shipped to you is pretty awesome. The work that I did this weekend with the circle plexi, it was actually inspired by you, Ian, so I appreciate it. And it was inspired by this image right here. Just this circle pattern right there just was so awesome, so cool. And the things you've been doing with that with the serpent tool have been just phenomenal. So keep those images coming. Let me move this over here. Next up, this was really cool, and again, looks like that water effect. And you know, I want to hit on something too. We're what, 21 days into the month of 2023. And I just want to say, everybody has been contributing to the group. You've all been knocking it out of the park. Like, so the work that has been being shared, you know, all as always, but just the last 21 days just has been such a pleasure seeing everybody just contribute into the group and all the images. So just keep that all coming in. Next one here, Roy, I love the strobe effect. Loving all these new serpent tool images that everybody's been sharing. It's just so great to see. Robert, this is really super cool. Again, the serpent tool, man, just everybody's just really, really loving that tool. Next we have Jason. Just that I had to shout you out, man. That work you did down here with is
Thanks,
so
man.
cool. This image right here jumps out to me every single time. It is so clean. It's this looked like such a good time that you had, you know, at this event, and just really tremendous portrait work there, man.
Thank you. All done with the portrait light. Every one of those done with
Right.
the portrait light.
And
Portrait light, such an underutilized tool.
absolutely. I plan on doing something very soon. I have a speed light. I want to do a tutorial on speed light versus fiber optic versus portrait light and show the differences. And I'm going to tell you, hands down, my go-to every time is the portrait light. And I'm going to I have something, I promise. I have something I'm putting together very soon to share that and show you guys why that is. So stay tuned for that. I'll be putting that out here pretty soon. Next, Steve, this was really cool, man. The snowflakes were an awesome effect in there. I love the little snowman here with the glitter stick. Cool image, man. And next, this was, you know, cool fiber optic here. Love seeing it. Just wanted to shout you out here. This was a great image. And let me move my box over. Peter, that's super cool, man. This dragon you created, man, and just I see people that are able to sit in a space and actually draw stuff in thin air. You know, whether that's spelling something out or actually drawing out an image. It blows my mind. It's something I've struggled with. I've never been able to be able to do that type of work. So I appreciate work like this, and super cool image right here. Dale, this was really cool. Just a cool effect. Love the pattern here, and they're all, you know, pretty symmetrical, and just wanted to shout that out there. I got a lot of shout outs I want to tell you, because like I said, you guys have been blowing it out of the park. I just couldn't stop. Super cool portrait. Just her look and just everything, the lighting, and really cool. Love the effect down here on the sides is really neat. And I don't know her. I can't pronounce her last name correctly, but she's new to the group. I believe she's in Germany. She's been sharing some stuff recently. It's just really a pleasure to see her work. Daniel, this is really cool. That stuff he does with the serpent blade is just awesome. And he's got the red and the blue one right here.
That is stunning.
Yeah,
that
it is
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, very nice.
It's 3D. It's got depth, which is so hard to get.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And yeah. I mean, how can you not shout out this, Christina? Still, man, you're still just nailing it, knocking it out of the park with this whole technique. I still appreciate this. What you're doing here is just phenomenal. It really is. So keep that up.
Hey, Jay, real quick, can we, not to go into a full breakdown, but Christina, you did that with the chalk markers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I am in love with chalk markers. There's so much you can do. You can create any kind of texture you want on the blades. It's really cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you back on the show again for do a breakdown, because you're still going hard at it, and we love it. We love seeing it, and just keep up the amazing work.
Thank you.
Robert, again, this whole series that he did was really cool. I love the abstractness, and just the colors are just so grabbing, and such a great image here. Will, I don't know what this was just, man, I when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is so cool. The mirror, I wish he was on here. We could talk to him, but I'm gonna try to reach out with him and maybe do an image breakdown soon on this. But this is so super cool. The shadowing, just everything about it, love it. Absolutely love it. This was super cool. The pattern here is just so elegant, and the softness, and then there's some edges that are more detailed, and then the softness as it goes out. Love this. Love this. I'd love to see more of this. This orb, I'm a sucker for always seeing new, interesting stuff, and there's a lot of elements going on here. Really love this.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's
Beautiful.
really cool.
And the light coming from the side, if it's intentional or not, but the tree, there's
Oh,
something
yeah.
really awesome about an image where you see the main core of the image, which obviously is this very, very sexy orb, but my eye is drawn, what's going, like I'm asking, what's on the side there? It's just a lick of tree. And not only that's beautiful exposure control, because you've got the highlights of the orb and stuff, but then you've managed the shadows so beautifully, which is very hard.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's beautiful. And next we've got the Yeti. I haven't seen a Yeti done in quite a while. This is a technique Chris came up with, and like I said, it's always just so nice to see. It's so awesome to see other people's interpretation of stuff that other people do. Whether it's Yetis, domes, orbs, spirographs, and to put your twist on it. This stuff here on the ground, man, is just so cool. Very, very cool image. And a nice backdrop too, with the graffiti and everything. Everything worked well here. Duncan, wanted to shout you out, man. This was a great post. I really appreciate you sharing this. Really cool technique and trick. And I've done this before. It does work very well. And I love to see when people want to try stuff out like this. And not only that, they're trying it out, but they're also engaging in the group and sharing this stuff. So thank you so much for doing this. This was a great post.
Can I just say something about that? What I also love about that, or he's using candy wrappers. I love that. I love taking that, that's something that would have been thrown in the garbage normally, but you're taking it, you're repurposing it, and you're making this incredible, tool that can then be used to create artwork out of it, which I absolutely love. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely. Todd, really cool. This the effect with the plexi here. Really, really awesome. Just wanted to shout you out there. Ryan, man.
Whoa.
This guy, I have the pleasure of talking with Ryan quite often. We have a lot of conversations. He's just he's a tremendous human, just a great guy. Love the conversations we have, and just a great artist, and seeing what he comes up with next and what he shares.
Wow.
Always appreciative. So
I'd like to see a breakdown on this one. That's cool.
yeah, I am trying to work Ryan in on a segment and sit down with him and talk about his work and have him on the show as a special guest artist. So we're definitely in the works with getting that done. So look out for that, sometime soon. So I thought this was super cool. Let me say this. So we want the light painting community here, light painting brushes, to be about light painting brushes. That's what brings us all together. That's what brings us all here. And we want the content that goes on there to be, yes, tools that maybe you've made, but utilizing that with light painting brushes, whether it's a universal connector and using that. But I thought it was important to share this here because, Johnny has been a big part of that development and the community and the things that he comes up with. So to see somebody take the Spyro jib and make a miniature scale of it from Legos, really, really awesome. And I think that's I think Johnny can really appreciate this right here. And I know I appreciated seeing this, and it was super cool to see this and share it in the group with everybody. Mike, this effect right here. Oh, yeah, super cool. Love seeing this glass jar or block. I know you had shared something about what it was. I want to say it was some kind of glass, block, hollowed out, obviously, but love the effect here and wanted to shout you out there.
That's wild.
And I think let me see, I think that's it. That is all I got on there. Let me stop sharing here. But that's all we got this evening. That is it for Light Painting Brushes Live January edition.
Hey, can I give you guys a little tease of something awesome, Jason? Would you mind? 20 seconds.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. We got to love our Australian friends. They're the best. Oh, what is this?
This is my first tutorial of the new D, and we could do a breakdown on this, but I'll be using light painting brushes for this.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that thing.
Okay.
Hell is that?
Yeah. There you go.
This is what someone with too much time on their hands.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get up with one another, man. We need to have a conversation. Love it, love it. All right, but again, thank you all so much for being a part of this community and constantly being here, and the engagement and just everybody and their work they're sharing has just been fantastic. So yeah, thank you. We'll see you in February. I'm already started working on February's edition. And we'll definitely get 20 Cent Light up on the YouTube channel, because that's something you don't want to miss. That interview I had with him was absolutely phenomenal. And there was a huge surprise in that, something that he had shared, something brand new and very intriguing, that you guys are really going to want to see. So we'll get that up very, very soon. With that, thank each and every one of you for being here this evening.
Hey, I just want to say thank you, man. You're doing incredible work with these hosting, bringing everybody together. Thank you for all the work that you do behind the scenes of putting this together. It is a ton of work, everybody. So make sure you're giving Jason his props, and thank you for putting these things together, because he's the one doing it. So thank you.
Awesome.
Ooh, ah.
Yeah.